In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 key reasons why you need to believe in yourself. 4 key essential reasons that are going to change the way that you show up on a daily basis and what this will mean for the community around you. All right? You don't want to miss this one. Dimitri here. Let's get right into it. I'm going to start with a story. In the mid-1980s, a family member traveled to another country in Africa and met with the leaders of the country. After spending a few days with them, the leader of the country said, "I'm going to bless you because your presence here has been a blessing to my government. So I'm going to bless you. I'm going to give you something that's going to cause many people within your family, within your country, within your environment to remember how much I appreciated you. So I'm going to give you the seed of a special mango tree that's very hard to find." He gifted that family member with this particular seed, and the family member came back to the country and planted the tree, and the tree started growing, and we started enjoying the fruit from that tree. Almost 10 years later, at the height of a revolution that took place in the Congo, soldiers came and took over the property, and the property was now a garrison where soldiers would be staying. They stayed there for quite some time until when eventually they were told it was time for them to go back to the proper garrison and to leave this particular property. But as they were leaving, they were so upset that they decided to vandalize the old property. They decided to break every single brick they could find as far as the property was concerned. And they decided to not just stop there, but to also go around the property and destroy all the plants, all the flowers, and including all the trees that they could actually see. And that particular tree that had been gifted to the family a few years before also was vandalized, completely destroyed. I never knew anything about this particular tree. I never knew about it. But I used to go to this particular property because it's family. But it's only a few years ago, then they explained to me the story of this particular property. And for the very first time, I was hearing the story about this particular tree. And that's when I found out the seed for this tree was actually a gift from the late Thomas Sankara. I was blown away. I was blown away. But before you start calling anybody names, before you start saying to yourself, "My goodness, these people, how could they do this to this tree?" I will simply now turn the mirror back to you and say, before you jump to conclusions, I'm going to kindly ask you to now start looking at the person that you are. You are that exceptional gift that we have received as far as the community is concerned. This is you. You are the gift. You are the gift. But what happened is we become so used to seeing what we see that we start discounting it and saying that after all, this can be this amazing. I'm just a regular person. And that's the first mistake that you make. And why am I putting you in terms of a circle? Because I believe that life is all about circles. You are the first circle. And within this first circle is what I would simply call the circle within. I would call it the CW, circle within. And outside of this circle is a second circle I will call the circle without. The circle within and the circle without. As I was explaining a few days ago, everyone that you see is the product of the many voices that have spoken over them in the past few years. There is a crowd within. The crowd within, this is the first level. The crowd within is all the voices, family, friends, and community that were intimately connected with you, speaking over you. That's the crowd within. And the crowd without is basically you being part of a community, you being part of a country, you being part of a particular continent. So the way that people behave in this particular environment, the ecosystem is the way that you too are going to start behaving. Again, the crowd within, that I call it number one, and the crowd without. And as I explained to you a few days ago, the book by Gustave Le Bon, The Crowd, La Foule, simply explained that every crowd is led by the voices of the most assertive or aggressive people within the crowd. So within the first crowd, you tend to believe the things you've heard repeated over and over again by the people that are most aggressive within the first crowd. So that's the level number one, crowd within. And the crowd without, you tend to believe now in the voices of the people that tend to be most aggressive as far as the community is concerned, as far as the nation is concerned. And these are the two important circles that you need to be aware of. But what happens is, most of the time is, we start looking at ourselves and we believe that, yes, I'm no big deal. I'm no big deal. I'm going to simply shrink. I'm going to shrink to the level of not the people speaking over me at the highest level, the people believing in me, but I'm going to shrink to the level of the people that are trying to bring me down. I'm going to anchor myself this way as opposed to anchoring myself up. I'm going to anchor myself down. I'm going to listen to the voices that are asking me to go down. So as I'm doing that, I'm going to shrink. But when you do that, you make the same mistake as these soldiers that came and uprooted the tree that basically had great cultural value as far as we are concerned as a continent. Let me tell you why. Because as you listen to these voices and you start shrinking, you are simply going to shrink to the point where the community at large that needs to see you show up are going to see less and less of you. Because they're going to say, so-and-so was actually big. But every time we look at so-and-so tend to believe that, yes, he's no big deal. He's basically a dot. And we as a community, we're now shrinking down to its particular level. Even the people that used to believe in you will start now shrinking to this particular level because they are saying that, yes, what's the point of having belief in this person? Because this person is not seeing himself as big. So we are all going to shrink at this particular level. So a nation that could have otherwise been big is now shrinking because of your decision to simply shrink at your particular level. Let me now tell you what's going to happen to these two circles, the circle within and the circle without, when you decide to show up the way you're meant to show up. When you decide to show up the way that you were meant to show up, you and the crowd within, and you and the crowd without, you're gonna now start expanding. You're gonna now start expanding. Not according to the voices of the people down here who are basically telling you, we're telling you as you're growing up that you're no big deal, but according to the voices of the people up there. They are anchoring you up. They are causing you now to expand and to move up as far as this circus is concerned. And when you do that, 4 key things are going to happen. You are taking space because you are showing up. And as you are taking space, you are taking more space. What's going to happen is you are now going to bridge or connect, bridge the gap or connect many different people within the community. So the community is going now to be connected because of your presence, because of your decision to show up. So you take space and you connect. That's number 2. Unite all these different people that will otherwise remain completely isolated. Because you are showing up, you are going to unite the community. As you unite in the community, what's going to happen is, because everyone is seeing that yes, so and so when they show up, they are basically shining and they are now taking space. And as they're taking space, they are now connecting people. They are now connecting the dot. And as they're connecting the dot, they are strengthening the whole community. And as you strengthen the whole community, you are now causing the whole community now to simply go up. And the whole community to simply start shining. And this will only start happening when you decide to start believing in yourself.